warm welcome back to the program, People's Imbizo. We are still coming to you from Naledi here in Soweto, discussing particularly the issue of gender abuse against women, and also touching a bit on the men's side as well. My panel was speaking a few minutes ago. We're trying to debunk the issue of the weaker gender. What are we looking at exactly? Are we looking at strength? Are we looking at it from the emotional side? This is what we want to talk about. We have a new member on our panel. Let me introduce you to him. We now have Mpo Sisedinyane. He's a counsellor in Tladi. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. And Tovela, Obadudi Banaledi Tladi Limuletsa.
Okay, and I'll come to you in a few minutes. Yes, Merita, you were itching to talk about the issue of gender weakness. How are we defining it?
I think it is so interesting that when women spoke, we refer to ourselves as weak. We need to inherit new thinking of who we are. We are human. Umuntu muntu kabantu. And how do we define ourselves as weak? When we had people that for years and decades said, Watinta? Watinta? So why do we stand here today after women of strength has walked for equality, Commissioner, yes, and we refer to one part of society as weak? There is a myth. Let's debunk that today, Audrey. There was a lot of talk about what can we do as a society. Let's start by debunking the myth that foreign nationals are the ones that perpetrate gender-based violence the most in this country.
And I wanted the commander to respond to that with actual statistics. So we're dealing with numbers here, not just with perception, yes, but actual numbers, so we know what's going on, and we don't, still have this myth. But of course, you can touch on that. I'll ask the commander to respond.
I think it's so important to touch on it, because when you're going to look at Naledi's numbers, and I won't mention it here because I'm sure it will be handled by him. When you look at it, the vast majority were South African perpetrators. Not even alleged, but South African perpetrators. I am encouraged by the fact that many people want to know where can we be part, what can we do. It is time, Audrey, that we take platforms like this that you create to really talk activism and really turn it into action against what we call and define as gender-based violence.
Yes, because we have been talking for a while now.
Exactly.
There has been all these campaigns that are in our calendars that we commemorate, like as you rightfully corrected me, every year, but nothing seems to be changing. Time for action. Councillor, thank you once again for joining the panel. Just a few weeks ago, there was on Twitter, you know how, Twitter, people are very active on social media, and that's where we get a lot of some of this information of victims that are out there and what people need to do going forward with regard to the help that they can get. Hashtag men are trash was trending for quite a while. Then they responded with hashtag not in my name. These are things that are happening in society. How do we change our mindset from thinking that all men are trash and also trying to involve them in the community to say, look, we love you, we cannot live without you. Well, we can, but we all need to live as one in this society, because we need to love each other. What do we do going forward?
Norman, thank you, Audrey. And the question you've raised as well, especially on that trending in Twitter, but the reality of the matter is that we need a situation where ourselves as men take an ownership. And when we take an ownership is to actually identify what we think should be an order of the day in terms of social engagement. And I think the last speaker that spoke here, one gentleman that spoke about men coming together, it's one step that is very important. So that then we have a session where men are able to come together, raise issues that they think are not happy, issues to deal with in their whatever relationship that they have. And once we've got that type of engagement at the level of men, I'm sure then it is the process of healing in itself, where you will then be in a position to actually attend to whatever issues that individual men find in their relationship, find in their marriages, and all sort of issues. And in that way, it will then reduce the perception that is there that men are trash, because we don't have such a thing. In South Africa, we've got very responsible men, very loving men, and therefore I don't think has come to that point of suggesting that we've got men that are thrash. But secondly, one gentleman also spoke about the issue of pure criminality as well, which I think also it should be one of the aspects that we should be able to also put an eye on it, because I don't generally think that it's purely about gender violence and therefore abusing of our women, but it equally goes to a level of criminality generally. And I'm sure Mr. Scriver can agree with me.
And you know, it's very interesting that you have decided to say, you know, it's not just about women being attacked. It's very interesting that you brought that up, that it's just criminality. Minister Fikile Mbalula, that's the police minister, just a few days ago actually tweeted and said they are deciding, if they haven't already, you will correct me if I'm wrong, Commander, to make violence against women a special crime. Yes. Yes. Because they are aware of this scourge in our community, that it cannot be ignored and be generalized just as crime anymore. Yeah. Would you like to respond to? Okay, yes, you can respond first.
But I think the point that I was raising here in terms of general criminality, I'm saying, and that's why I say Mr. Krever can agree with me. The recent killing of Lerato Molo here in Naledi, you check, those are the people that were in a friendly relationship with Lerato, his friends generally, and therefore they chose to commit that particular criminality. And some of the also incidents that has also happened in the ward that I come from, where a lady was brutally murdered and dumped in the community, are the people that are actually in a pure crime type of a situation. And that's what I'm saying, at some point we need to ensure that we also bring matters to deal with those type of criminal very harsh, and ensure that we actually deal with such criminalities as well. That's a point that I was raising in terms of that, not justifying the fact that we've got that element of a problem generally where our people are actually involved in such a crime of abusing their loved ones.
I'm very concerned about how you generalize it in that manner. Perhaps it's the way that I've received it. I hope I'm wrong. Commander Scriven, would you like to respond to particularly what was raised by a few gentlemen in the audience, that they believe that it's foreign nationals that are committing these crimes and it is their fault that their women are being abused in this community? Is that a fact? Is that what the statistics say?
I spoke about attitude, change of attitude. It's not the first time that I hear that we reduce something to domestic violence. There is no such thing. Domestic violence is so serious that, you know, tonight you have to go back to the same environment where you are tortured, traumatized, whatever now. When you can interview some people that is alive today, I want to make a point here, and they will tell you, no, I'm already dead. I might look alive, but I'm already dead. That's why today I think we talk about, or we emphasize the issue of domestic violence. Yes, the minister is coming with a special program and instructions to us. But at the police station, we've already decided long ago that that we are going to deal with these things more harsh. There is the issue of the so-called foreigners. When you analyze my crime on a monthly basis, you can go back for years. What is quite interesting, we call it the so-called contact crimes. That is your assaults, your murders, your rapes, where people are coming into contact with each other.
Contact crime, yes. Almost
50% of all those crimes is there month after month after month. That means there's something very seriously wrong in the community. And the crimes that those people that are doing the research, that says that people fear the most are housebreaking and hijackings. We do have those crimes in the area, and we take them equally serious. Domestic violence, unfortunately, and it is so serious that there's a special act for that. There's a national instruction. There's a station instruction written by the station commander. It's so serious that a police official that refused to deal or to refuse to take that matter seriously can actually lose his or her job. And for your information, we receive complaints at the police station, and there's a certain way that we deal with complaints. But a complaint that is got to do with a domestic violence have to be referred to IPID. And it's only them, not me. I don't have that powers that can withdraw them. Now, unfortunately, in the recent murders, it was not South Africans. When we are sitting down every day and we analyze the crime, we are looking at who are these people so that we can get an idea where are they coming from. Are they from Naledi? Are they from Tladi? Or even from Josie? Is the majority of the perpetrators are South Africans. And it is also not to say that if it happened now that one person from a certain nationality has committed a crime, all those people are criminals. And I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm not here to defend anyone. I'm here to deal with facts.
Yes, and that's all we ask from you, just facts.
And I think our mission, I just want to repeat our mission as the SAPS again, so that everybody must understand it. Our vision is very simple, is to make sure that everyone, I'm not going to bring South Africa down to Naledi, but it is applicable to South Africa, that everyone that lives and works in Naledi must be and feel safe. So my obligation as the police station commander of Naledi, together with all my colleagues, is to do just that, regardless of who you are.
We just want to go back to the audience to see if there's anyone else who would like to share what... yes, sir, please, can we have a microphone there?
My name is Thabiso Masweu. I'm the secretary of SANCO here in Ward 20. I believe on this issue, we must look on both sides. We are having a problem of community participation. Women are not participating in all issues. You find in the civic organization, you find that a person comes. He comes and reports that no, a will has been written. My brother is the one who's controlling the house, and now I don't have access to the house. As a civic organization, we will intervene and will assist that person. But only to find that that person will never come. After solving the matter, the person is no longer coming back again. That's the problem we are having, lack of participation of women. Actually, in generally, lack of participation of the community. Like for instance, you can see here it's only men. Men are in numbers. Only few women are here. That's the problem we are having. We are having lack of participation of other people.
This is very sad, what is happening in our country. I'm not talking about Naledi Tladi. This is sad. If it is your mother, my mother, I'm 79 years old. You can just imagine how old is my mother. And they get in a house, rape her and kill her. I don't want to talk a lot about this thing because I'm very sad. Men, let's stand up. Are men come out to banna. Uska emela uru ntwena eta galebu yo is. Honanu kyo station commander saro. Are metse gore le na bolayo. Honanu maporisa rona ba go tshwara ba ntshwara. Kama moswebile ke tswile. We discourage them. Our judges, our magistrate, let them do their job. What I'm suggesting, the hang pal must come back.
In most cases, what I've noticed about us, we are still far away from getting the solution over the problem. Why? I've seen so many sicknesses in my life. And there is no sickness that you can overcome until you admit it or accept it that you are sick. So Tina, abantu besilisa, as long as we are still trying to shift the blame to somebody else, we are still far away from getting the solution. It doesn't matter whether when as long as you know that I'm a man today, as long as you know that whenever a man does something wrong, now you feel what kind of a man I am in this community. If everyone is crying about men, what am I doing as a man?
Igama lami nguThoko ngwakaNdlovu ngiphuma la eTladi eWard 21. Mina into bengicabanga ukuthi ngenziwa besicela ukuthi abomama ungathuli endlini because umama uyahlala emshadweni uthola ukuthi unabantwana abayi4. Uyahlukumezeka endlini. Mara ngoba akafuna ukushiya lo mshado uncanekela ukuthi kungcono afe ngoba yena unabantwana abayi4 nalo baba. Besicela ukuthi abomama ama-issues anjalo sicela ukuthi bawa-report e-police station because manje uzofa ushiya abantwana bakho because wena ukhalela ukuthi uzothi mawuphuma endlini yakho uzoshiya ubaba ushiya abantwana uzofa ubashiye vele because wena ufuna ukubashiya kanti mongayireport lento kungakenzeki izinto eziningi.
That's the CPO of Naledi. We have spoken to the community, we have met with community blocks and sectors that with the issue of crime and this abuse of women and kids. And we have talked as men that we are going to establish the STUs, that self-defense unit, that we have been having them before, so that we can start to protect our kids, our mothers, our children. And also the huge thing that our patrollers are doing around here. It's a thing that they started to protect the community. The community must realize that within their families, the people that they are having, like men who are still not wake up in the morning, they must start to be part of our community patrollers, to be engaged in every meeting that you call in the community. We are not going to blame one another here. This thing is affecting the whole of South Africa. We need to have unity as the communities that we are surrounded in. Now, I've seen that you don't need to raise our tempers that women that does this, they know. Our women, our mothers, these are our children. We need to bring trust that there's a bridge now between the men and the women. Now we need to bring that that gap together so that we can start to have trust within our communities.
Right. I think what we're trying to do is have an honest discussion and talk about exactly what is happening. And before we can do that, we really can't solve the problem and acknowledge what is happening. Who do I want to start with? Yes, let me start with you, Commissioner. Why do you think we still have this mindset of perhaps men not being able to acknowledge what is happening? How can we help with that mindset? Mind shift, rather.
It's attitude, and it is growing people to educate them. We come from a culture where young men or boy children were told that abovusmus, they are the custodians of the homes. So we will teach one another. And let me say, unity is strength. Let's treat each and every other person as a human being and as equal person. So if you see a boy child, that boy child is equal to the girl child. And we should educate one another, and we should not get into false situations and false love relationships where we think people love us and they do not do that. And I think it is very important to women to stand up. We are equal to whoever, a man, the other woman. Let's not see as men as superior to us as women. And let's not look at, it's not true that you need a man to prosper. Don't stay in that relationship. Go away and access ihlazo bomama ukuthi awushadanga. Access ihlazo lokuthi awunamntwana. It is our culture that says it is every woman's right. You must have a child, you must get married. But we have come to a community, or South Africa has given everybody a right. You can do whatever you want as a woman.
I just want to get final remarks from Councillor Mpo as we wrap up. What would you like to say to the community as a councillor regarding this issue, as just final remarks from you?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the community to really come out, for them to speak to us, especially about their frustrations and their issues. There's no point of keeping quiet when you are in an abused relationship. So it's very important that we actually come out and speak about it, so that therefore we're able to come up with a solution. But secondly, to all the men out there, it's very also key that they also come out and speak and raise whatever that we think might be the reason for them to raise a hand against their partners. So as long as such information does not come up, remains a very critical problem. But
very
then
important.
lastly,
we need to look at both sides to see how we can come up with a solution.
But then lastly, is that it's the responsibility of each and every community to know what is happening kumakhelwane wakho.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Councillor Mpho Sisedinyane there. We have a new member on our panel. You will remember the march that happened in Gauteng in Johannesburg. Hashtag not in my name. We're here with one of the members to discuss with us exactly what that hashtag means going forward, particularly in this area where we have a lot of violence against women. Let's go across to him now. So thank you so much for joining us. Please do introduce yourself. Tell us what your movement is about.
All right, my name is Kulefelo Masha, and I'm the spokesperson of Not in My Name movement. We started out as a hashtag, but eventually we realized that there's a need for a movement like ours. What our movement does is that we work with potential perpetrators and perpetrators of such violence, gender-based violence, and we rehabilitate them and reinstate them in a community, or introduce them into the community. What we understand is that at the core of this problem is not womanhood that's a problem, it's actually manhood that's a problem. We men are the ones that are the perpetrators of these crimes, and we know that we pick up all these stuff that reinforce our behavior and all that in the way that we socialize with each other, in the way that we speak to each other, in the way that we groom our children and all that. So we go into communities, we go to schools. Our team right now, as I speak to you, is in Hammanskraal. We've been there since Monday. We have done 11 schools already. Take the boys into one classroom and have a chat with them. Teach them how to treat themselves as men. We don't push to teach men to say protect women, because we believe that there will be no need to protect women if men were not there to violate them. So we teach them how to behave as men, how to respect themselves, you know. And as a movement, of course, we came out after the conversation, men are trash. However, our conversation going forward was not a response to the conversation, men are trash. It's not a movement to say that, not in my name, I am good, those ones are trash. But it's actually to pick up collective responsibility as men, that from now onwards as a man, I will take my stand in the community.
What challenges are you facing as a movement as you go about trying to change people's mindsets, particularly men?
At the depth of what we're dealing with is a very toxic masculinity that we've been taught. You meet very young boys who tell you things that they know, that they've been taught growing up and all that. In a street intervention a few weeks, a 12-year-old boy told one of our members that Baramfe to paint. You know, a woman is nothing but just a painting to him at the age of 12. And we taught him that as adults, that he must just view women as nothing but a painting to him, you know. So we try to challenge the psyche, the psychology, the conscience of men, that let's stop viewing women as possessions. They don't belong to you. They belong first to themselves. They deserve an equal space to exist in the community. And it's very sad that the people that are now coming out who have killed their partners and all that, these are intimate partners. Of course, there's an element of criminality, and someone brought that up. I agree with that. But we've got to understand that most of them were intimate partners. These are people that you trust. These are people that you depend on. There's someone that you feel like you can share your life with and all that.
Completely.
And the question is that what happens, at what point does he feel like he has the right to do what he does, you know? And we know that it is somewhere in the upbringing of men, it is somewhere in the socializing of men that we teach them to view women as subordinates to themselves, that we teach them to view women as subhumans and not people that deserve the same equal plane of existence in society.
I feel like it deserves a round of applause. Kulefelo, thank you so much for that. We certainly appreciate it. We're running out of time. We could have done this all day with you. Very educating, very informative, this hashtag Not in My Name SA movement. Marita, I want to get closing remarks from you as we're wrapping up. The issue of victimization, you're concentrating on empowering victims, but just please very quickly touch on whatever else that you think we need to wrap up on as we end the show.
I think as we're moving towards the end, I want to debunk the myth that Naledi is not suffering of social ills. Prior to what has happened this year, late last year, we looked at the 40 precincts that is producing the most data in states contributing to gender-based violence. Naledi is one of them. And society makes Naledi. I just want to say in conclusion, Audrey, because I believe a lot has been said, I want to bring honor and salute to the women that on media told their stories in the past 2 months. Because what they've done is they've shaken who we are as South Africa. And they made us understand that it's really not about August. It's not about 16 days. It's about 365 days of protection of women and children.
Oh, thank you for that, Marita. I'd like to thank all my guests, my panel here that were there to help us discuss this issue, the audience, the community of Naledi here in Soweto, for allowing us to come to your community and for speaking to us as well. We certainly appreciate that. And just before the break, I promised that I'd share my personal story with you. I was also a victim of gender violence in a previous relationship that I was in. It took me 2 years to be able to leave. Why I share this with you is to make people understand that gender-based violence has no class, it has no age, it does not discriminate against anyone. It is not a black and white issue. Go out there and seek help. And as community, sometimes we betray ourselves because we become those people that victims cannot come to. We need to examine ourselves inside and see if we're also accommodating of victims in our community before they even go to the police. This is People's Imbizo. Thank you for watching the program, and we'll do this again next week. Goodbye.